Amazon.com, the biggest online retailer in the world, is selling a guide for pedophiles. Right now, on their website, they are selling an ebook for Kindle, in essence, profiting from pedophilia. Now, at first I thought maybe they just don't know about this. Maybe it somehow snuck on the site. But all they have to do is read the title of the book. It's a self-published ebook entitled The Pedophile's Guide to Love and Pleasure, A Child Lover's Code of Conduct. The author's name is Greaves, and he admits he has feelings for children, though he insists he's never acted on them. That's him. His ebook went on sale with Amazon.com October 28th. Now again, Amazon cannot claim they don't know about this book because here's how Mr. Greaves describes his book on Amazon itself. This is my attempt, he says, to make pedophile situations safer for those juveniles that find themselves involved in them by establishing certain rules for these adults to follow. I hope to achieve this by appealing to the better nature of pedosexuals with hope that their doing so will result in less hatred and perhaps lighter sentences should they ever be caught. He spelled lighter wrong. One of the pieces of advice that he gives pedophiles in this book is that if they are disease-free, they don't have to use condoms. Let's remember now, he's talking about using condoms with children. He even tells pedophiles what sort of touching and kissing and fondling of children is legal, how far they can go without getting arrested. Greaves writes in his ebook, and I quote, "Pedophiles, we must remember, care for and befriend their young lovers. They're concerned for the well-being and pleasure of their little friends." A number of people have posted comments on Amazon against the book, and now a Facebook page has been created calling for a boycott of Amazon. Lacey Fly writes on the Facebook page, "This is absolutely horrible. As a mother of a small child, I'm appalled by the fact that Amazon allows something like this on their website. Boycott Amazon," she says. "I'll not buy a book from them until all trash like this is taken off." Now, Greaves says he's not advocating anything illegal and is hoping to change the public's perception of pedophiles.
Every time you see them on television, they're either murderers, rapists, or kidnappers. And, that's just not an accurate presentation of the that particular sexuality.
Well, he also seems to be pretty happy to court controversy so he can sell more books. He told ABC, quote, to a certain extent, I wanted that kind of notoriety to affect the book. I want it to affect sales. We reached out to Amazon for a statement, and they didn't give us one. They did release a statement to the website Business Insider, and it reads in part, quote, Amazon believes it is censorship not to sell certain books simply because we or others believe their message is objectionable. Amazon does not support or promote hatred or criminal acts. However, we do support the right of every individual to make their own purchasing decisions. But keeping them honest here, again, they didn't respond to us. And in fact, several major media outlets say they contacted Amazon for a statement but heard nothing about it. So if Amazon really stands by the statement that you just heard, why aren't they responding to journalists' calls for comment? And about that one statement they did issue, Amazon does not support the right of every individual. They said Amazon supports the right of every individual to make their own purchasing decisions. But they don't. They censor books all the time. In fact, they have a blanket ban on porn. Now, if they don't believe in censorship, why ban porn? It's legal, it's popular, it involves consenting adults. Amazon even has a form for customers, reportedly, to report any porn that happens to make it onto their site. Dr. Phil, does it make any sense to you at all that Amazon would be selling a guide for pedophiles?
Well, it doesn't make any sense other than the fact that, I guess, under the First Amendment, people can write whatever they want to write. But I would think with a private business, you have the opportunity to make a decision as to what you want to do. And, this is a despicable crime. And for someone to write a book that says, I want to tell you how to do this, in a way that if and when you get caught, you won't get such harsh sentences. I mean, that's offensive to the sensibilities of even the most casual observer. I mean, come on, this doesn't even make common sense.
And also, I mean, Amazon, they don't put out porn on their site. They won't sell pornography. So they do make choices about what books they want to sell. I don't quite get why they would want to sell this book.
Well, I don't either, because they're not imposing a consistent standard. As you say, they won't sell porn, and their defense is, well, we sell a lot of other despicable books. We sell books about people that deny the Holocaust. We sell books of people that take way other than the mainstream position on things. But look, what we're talking about here, Anderson, is our children. And as you know, I've done a number of shows with pedophiles over the years. I've been to the prison where these people are held, the prison hospitals. I've had candid conversations with them, and they will tell you themselves that the urges don't go away. They will tell you that they're likely to reoffend. And the statistics say that as many as 30 to 40% of these people that are caught reoffending. So that just tells you if this book is written, it's going to empower these people to say, okay, here's something that's telling me how to do this and get away with it.
Right. It's also, I mean, the author from the description on the Amazon site, and again, I haven't read the book, nor do I frankly want to, but the author seems to be saying that this is a guide both for the children involved with an older person, as well as the older person, to sort of establish rules of behavior, which just, the whole idea of it is really sickening.
Look, it's either a crime or it's not. It is a crime against humanity. It is a moral crime. It is a legal crime. And what I understand him saying, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is that he's saying, I want to establish rules of conduct for you fellow pedophiles so you don't do things that are too egregious to these children that you're victimizing. And that way when you get caught, then maybe you won't get in so much trouble. So I guess in the delusional mind of this author, it's like there is an okay way to commit this crime and violate these innocent children, or a less egregious way to do it. I mean, come on, are you kidding me? That when you put your hand on a child in that way, that's wrong. There's no way to make that right.
And to, Amazon, look, will say, look, we don't want to be involved in censorship, even though they don't put on porn, which you could say is censorship. I mean, they have a point that they don't, you don't want necessarily a company to be in the business of deciding what books are okay for people to read and what books are not okay for people to read. But this one seems to cross a line.
Well, it does seem to cross a line. I mean, even under the First Amendment, the idea is that you cannot write and say things that incite people to do bad things and to break the law. And my thought is that if a pedophile saw this book, got a hold of it, read it, and said, oh, okay, there are some standards here. I'm following the rules. This gives me an excuse. This makes it okay for me to get back into this kind of interaction. Is that inciting someone to break the law or commit a crime? I think there's an argument to be made for that. Now, I don't know this author. I don't know if he's a pedophile. I don't know what his position on this is, but this is a bizarre, bizarre book. And I can tell you, if I owned a bookstore, it would not be in my window.
Dr. Phil, appreciate it. During the interview, when I talked to Dr. Phil a short time ago, I hadn't read the book. I actually have subsequently read the book, so now I want to talk about it with Jeffrey Toobin. Amazon released a statement, as we said, to a website, Business Insider, saying, quote, Amazon believes it's censorship not to sell certain books simply because we or others believe their message is objectionable. Senior legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin joins us now. So, I mean, look, you read parts of this book. I've read, it's basically kind of a glorified pamphlet, really.
Right.
It is clearly disgusting. I mean, it's advising pedophiles you don't have to use a condom if you and the child are disease-free. It advises them about what sort of touching and fondling, even kissing, is legal for pedophiles to do with a child and not. Is it illegal, though?
I don't think there is a court in America that would find this book illegal. Look, remember, child pornography is illegal, and the Justice Department is very aggressive in prosecuting people who use photographs, videos of actual children being abused. But this book is all text.
Right.
It's just, and it is essentially a work of advocacy, and there's a lot of fiction in it, a story being told in it. That is clearly protected by the First Amendment. I don't think there is any, there's an argument that some works of advocacy are incitement, but courts have been very, very narrow in interpreting that as a crime. But I think this one is well safe on the First Amendment and under the protection of the First Amendment.
The other question, I guess, though, is, does this company have to sell them? They're saying, look, we don't want to engage in censorship, but they censor porn.
That's right. The
standard does not seem to be evenly applied.
No, Amazon is not being consistent here. There are many legal products. Pornography, as we all know, is a multi-billion-dollar business. It's legal. It's all over the internet and in many other places. They choose not to sell it. That's Amazon's right. But their stated position is that anything protected by the First Amendment we sell, and clearly that's not the case.
And they're saying they're not selling porn, I suppose, because they don't want to offend a large number of their customers. You would think if they were applying that standard, selling a book, A Guide to Pedophilia, is going to offend the vast majority of their customers.
Well, I think that's true. And you know, you have to be a little sympathetic to Amazon because, you know, as you pointed out in the interview with Dr. Phil, you don't want them reading every book and deciding what's acceptable to their readership or not. The problem is, when you get something like this one, which is so obviously offensive, which is so obviously without redeeming social value.
It's not like this is a novel that has some questionable elements in it or some controversial.
It's not Lolita. Yes.
Right. I mean, this is the headline. All you need to do is see the headline of this book, and you kind of get the gist.
Right. And it is true that there also is really objectionable political advocacy for sale on Amazon. You can buy Mein Kampf on Amazon, and I think we all agree that it's probably important that Mein Kampf as a historical document be available. But the problem is they don't have a blanket policy. If they had a blanket policy that says, we'll sell porn, we'll sell anything, then maybe they should sell this book. But they don't have that policy. They have a policy where they make judgments about what they want to sell and what they don't want to sell, and that's appropriate as a business.
As they have a right to sell what they want, customers have a right to shop where they want.
And that's the real risk for Amazon here. This is not a law enforcement issue. Nobody is going to prosecute Amazon, but they have a commercial problem. They have a business problem because people are angry. As you've pointed out, they're already starting to be talk about a boycott. Some people are, they've got a Facebook page. This is a business problem for Amazon, and it's a real one, but, and they've got to deal with it. And frankly, the First Amendment doesn't have much to do with it.